Well, we're just coming off a win against River Falls last week, last Friday night. We traveled to River Falls and didn't play what I could consider a great game, but our kids, they played hard and they persevered through the whole thing. And fortunately, we were able to make some plays in the fourth quarter, and we ended up winning the game on a kind of a last-second field goal. And I was really proud of our kids. I thought they came through in maybe a tough situation, and I think there's probably been a lot of pressure on them, but they came through and did a great job, and hopefully they'll be a springboard into the rest of our season, which starts our home season tomorrow against Wisconsin-Eau Claire. Very solid football team, even though St. Thomas took it to them last week. They are a good football team led by their big running back, Joel Sweeney, who this is the fourth year in a row now that we've seen him. He's a 255-pound running back who he's going to get the ball a lot. We're expecting him to carry the ball 30, 35 times, and that's going to be our game plan. We got to try to stop him, and then hopefully we can put a few more points on the board. I thought last week against River Falls we had some other chances where we could have scored, and we didn't connect on those. So those are the things we've worked on during the week, trying to finish off drives and then hopefully be better on defense. And I think if we do that, we'll have a great shot against a pretty good Eau Claire team coming in tomorrow.
Well, the St. John's University football team got off to its opening game. Coach Fasching's first inaugural football game as head coach here at St. John's. We ended up with a 17-14 win. It was a great game for all the guys to get under their belts. Obviously a positive thing always to win. The nice thing about winning like that, both sides of the football, and looking at the defensive side, we certainly did make some mistakes. When you win a football game, it's a lot easier to correct some of those mistakes, and you can work a little bit harder on some of those things. So it worked out pretty good that way. Overall, defensively, we do have some things we got to shore up. We got to play a little bit better on the up front. Gave up a few yards. Their quarterback had some opportunities to run the football against us in that zone read spread offense style that we'll see a handful of times the rest of the year. But he was an experienced guy coming off a full year already as a starter, and they did some good things. But the nice thing about our defense is that we came up with some big stops when we had to. Late in the ball game in the fourth quarter when we were down by 7, 14-7, we had a opportunity to get the football back, and we got the ball back twice in the last 3 or 4 minutes of the football game to score 10 points, and with our Alexi kicking the game-winning field goal with about 2 seconds left on the clock. So those are all real positives. We certainly got a lot of things to work on. We got some things to work in obviously in the secondary. We got to work on some of our alignments and a lot of those little things that you need to get out of the way after that first football game, especially when we don't scrimmage teams. I know River Falls did scrimmage another college in the preseason, which you're allowed to do, but that being our first time under the gun, it worked out pretty good. So hopefully we can learn from some of our mistakes. We got to improve week to week, which now we're getting into the Eau Claire game, our first home opener. They're always a tough matchup, but they had a tough time last week against a very good St. Thomas team. But they're always tough. They're always one of the better teams in the WIAC, and every year we play them, it's always a tough contest. So we have to be ready to play. They have a big fullback that's given us some trouble in the past. A big running back. Sweeney's about 6'2", 250 plus pounds, and tough runner, and has enough speed to break it to the outside if he needs to. They do have a relatively young, inexperienced signal caller in their quarterback, but they always have good athletes. They have good skilled kids. Their offensive line is fairly good size. So we just got to eliminate the mistakes we made from last week and play good solid football, and hopefully we can come away again on the top side of the score.
Well, nice finish last week. We really feel like we came through obviously when it was needed. It was not a clean game for our offense last week. We did some very good things. The O-line really did a tremendous job, I think, throughout the game, and we made plays when it counted. Senior leadership, Krebsbach coming through, Jake Essler coming through, Blake Bellin coming through. Great to see those guys really come through in the clutch. Colin Moynihan has to be mentioned as well as a senior at the skill positions that did a really good job. Chase Kaimek blocking well. Great finish. That's a lot of fun. You like to be able to play poorly and win, and I like to think that we can play a lot better on offense. I don't think anybody on our offense would disagree. But we finished. So, good looking forward to this week. We hope to play a clean game. If we can play a clean game, we could be very good. We proved, I think, on the first drive and our last drive, last two drives last week, that we can be pretty good. So it's a matter of taking the lessons we learned from last week, taking a huge step forward, and playing better this week.